Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Master Cloud, and I am back for another cast of The Lord of the Rings, The Rise of the Witch King, The Battle for Middle-earth 2. Today's matchup is going to be a 2 versus 2 on, the map is actually Udun. Now this is actually a tri-cast. I'm here with two other people, a 7-year-old and a, how old are you again?
9.
Okay, a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old, so if you guys...
Remember that!
If you guys are here to see children casting Lord of the Rings, The Rise of the Witch King, then you have come to the absolute right place. Now, let's introduce the players. Spawning in the upper left-hand side, we do have Turin, of course, spawning as goblins. Now, his partner is going to be... Does anyone know how to pronounce this name here?
Not a clue.
Why don't you try and give it a try?
DJ Ings.
I've called them D-Ginges before. And of course, him and Turin, I believe, are brothers and have played on my channel before, or I've casted them on my channel before, so they are going to be, once again, teaming up today in this 2 versus 2. Now, spawning in the lower right-hand side, as Agmar is going to be their opponent from the clan SOP, is going to be T4N. Is that supposed to be Tan, though? I'm not really sure. We're just going to call him Agmar, because, hey, that's the race he's playing. And his partner who is also playing Agmar is the King. Now, funny story, me and Wyatt just actually casted a part of a game with this same player, and he actually, the video did not work out, so that one is not being uploaded. However, this one hopefully will be. So the King spawning down here as Agmar. Now, Will, what are your feelings so far about who is going to go ahead and win this game?
I have no idea what this game is, and I have, not, even seen it, so...
Well, it's a really good thing that you're here casting it for other people, then. Wyatt, looks like there's a slight battle over here. They're trying to take down this furnace here of the Ginges, but a couple of these Uruk-hai are going to help push back some of these fortresses, and I think these Gundabad warriors are going to be easily defeated by them. A few units do slip by looking for additional mines to go ahead and attack more Agmar troops around the backside as well. A couple of Turin's troops, the goblins, coming over here to help out, but is it going to be enough to save him? I don't know. This player is looking to be in a little bit of trouble here, the Ginges. Now, over inside the base of Turin, it looks like a couple of goblin pits have gone up. He is going to be going for that very heavy goblin play. Anyone have any specific feelings about goblins? What are your feelings about the guy, about massive amounts of goblins?
They're freaky.
Absolutely. And if goblins were in your house and attacking and running around in your room, what would you do?
Run out of my house.
It's probably a smart idea. William, any specific feelings so far about this battle?
If I was in that battle, like me right now, since I'm very young, I would, kill myself before anybody else could kill me.
Probably completely unnecessary to do that. However, seeing as how this is a fictional world and empire, however, perhaps that would be the recommended course of action if a ton of goblins had captured you.
I thought this was a comedy.
It can be. It just became one. Looks like a slight skirmish over here on the right-hand side. A couple of goblins are going to escape here. And several more units here are moving up of Agmar. Agmar looking to do a lot of damage here in the front, but the Uruk-hai have gone into shield formation, now break out and begin to take down several of these units. A couple of goblins here helping on the right-hand side as well. I think Isengard should be able to win this easily. The Uruk-hai incredibly efficient against these Gundabad warriors, and Turin doing an excellent job switching these units in and out of the defensive mode to help save a lot of their health here. It looks like they will once again be able to defeat some of these troops, although more Agmar troops arriving. A couple axe throwers on the ridge here do get a good angle, and I think these units are finally going to fall. However, a massive horde of goblins is moving through the center, or to the left side of the map here, as Azog is included in it. A couple of Gundabad warriors is not going to be enough to slow them down, and suddenly the fortress here of the King is looking to be in a little bit of trouble. However, he does summon a bunch of wolf riders. These are going to charge from behind. The goblins turn around to engage, but the wolf riders still get a pretty good charge there. He is going to withdraw them back momentarily to grab a few more reinforcing goblin warriors. Azog is in the midst of it. He is trying to take them down. If he can take down that thrall leader, the rest of the wolves will go ahead and disperse. And with this battle raging on, there's the whirlwind by Agmar to pull those units in. And the goblins here surrounding most of these troops. It looks like the Goblins are going to just barely win this battle. I think with Azog in here, they should have the battle won. However, in the top left-hand side, a couple of units of Angmar troops beginning to work on this mine. More troops, Uruk-hai in the bottom right-hand side, attempting to take out this mill. Are they going to get it? The answer is...
not a clue.
Well, the answer would be no, because they didn't get it.
No. Okay.
Okay. Meanwhile, in the upper left-hand side, or upper right-hand side, excuse me, actually not much going on here. Just once again, build looks like he's got more Uruk-hai coming out onto the map. In the upper left-hand side, though, a slight skirmish here. The Goblins are going to clean up the rest of these, it looks like, or the Uruk-hai actually might not quite kill all of these Angmar units. However, just a couple of Gundabad warriors running around in the back of the base. Annoying it will be, but there's plenty of Goblins coming out here that should be able to deal with that. Turin actually making a little bit of a mistake here. Has several Goblins queued up, needs to invest that money into something else. Is going to be throwing down an additional Goblin cave because he has so much money. More Angmar units moving up to the left-hand side here. This battle is continuing to rage on, although it's pretty much evened out right now. A huge group of Goblins moving around the right side of the map as they will begin to break down this mill. Wyatt, what are your feelings about the battle so far, and who do you think is going to win?
I think Angmar is gonna win.
Well, Angmar could win. The king is not doing too bad. However, he does have a ton of Goblin units in the back of his base right now, and he is looking to be in a little bit of trouble here. He needs to bring down some units, wouldn't you say, to go ahead and deflect these Goblins away? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, that is probably the correct answer in this circumstance. More Goblins along the left-hand side as well as they begin to take down his base. Now the king is making a counterattack with a ton of his units of Angmar, beginning to work down some of these Goblin caves. He is going to get an additional one already having gone down. Meanwhile, the second Angmar unit here of, I forget this guy's name. You guys remember?
No.
It is going to be, no, not Djinjas. What's this guy's name? Oh, yeah, Angmar. S4 Tan, or is Tan, and he is going to be pushing forward with a pretty large group here, although there's a ton of Uruk-hai archers here in the back there doing massive amounts of damage, and I think that he might be able to hold with more pikemen coming out now. I think he should be able to hold this battle quite easily. Meanwhile, the Goblins on the lower right-hand side finally being cleaned up in the base of the king here, as it looks like those Goblins will go ahead and be destroyed. A massive push from Angmar along the left-hand side here, and the brothers along the top are looking to be in a little bit of trouble. That mine gets canceled so that he can get reimbursed that money. On the right-hand side, the battle continuing to push forward. Hawaldir is out up to level 3, but he is taking way too much damage. His troops have fallen, and he is going to have to retreat for now. However, a secondary troop moves along the right-hand side, unbeknownst to the Eye of Sauron. Do you think this troop will be able to get any significant damage in, Will?
Yes.
And I would say that is probably right, because here is a very weakened mine, and they should be able to take this out quite quickly. There's also an additional Goblin mine up to the top here that they might be able to scout out and find. That mine gets canceled immediately, and he is going to be doing some significant damage with some pretty cheap units here. Djinja is looking to be in a little bit of trouble. A group of Angmar units continuing to pester Turin up in the very top-hand side of his base. More Angmar units moving from the king up to help. And this is basically just a spam of units right now. The Goblin King is out, though, only level 1, but does focus down. A couple of these Goblins can go for that Thrall Master and takes out the entire unit there, but with 2 more units showing up immediately, this mine is in a lot of trouble right now of going down. However, Isengard is starting to get a ton of troops on the field. His troops have not been dying. The Angmar player has been focusing down his buildings, not his troops, and suddenly his army looks to be pretty sizable, with Lurtz out on the field as well. What do you think about this picture of this hero right here? Would you want to be a friend with this guy?
Yes.
William?
I would, because I'm a really good video gamer, but he's like 49 billion times more.
This guy right here, this picture?
Yeah.
Do you see this picture? Yeah. He looks like a really nice guy, don't you think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We would all want to be friends.
I would go out with him.
Oh, if you were a girl, you would go out with him. Yes, definitely. Lurtz, very attractive Uruk-hai for sure. Now, a couple of Goblins chasing down a few units of Angmar here, getting a little bit out of position. Turin looking to be in quite a bit of danger, actually, as he is going to lose an additional mine to the top here. He's basically been brought down to just a couple of mines. Does actually have 4 out. That's decent, but he has very low amounts of production facilities. He has 1 goblin cave here, and he is scrambling around the map to try and deal with this. Agmar now has archers out in the field, the Dark Rangers. This is looking very good for the bottom team. Wyatt, I think your prediction of Agmar potentially winning this game is quite good. An additional hero comes out for Agmar. Who it is going to be? It is going to be Hwaldir for the king now is out on the field, just getting out. Now we have a massive battle happening over here on the right-hand side. These archers continuing to push forward, dealing massive damage from the back row here, going basically uninhibited as they launch like volleys of arrows into Isengard. However, Isengard has just so many troops, more archers coming out. This is going to be a really close battle, and finally Agmar decides, you know what, I don't know if I have this battle won. There's way too many heroes here, as he is going to get pushed back. Lurtz giving chase, decides to focus on Hwaldir instead. Now Hwaldir has been caught. He is at level 4, but he cannot take on this many troops by himself, and he is going to fall. So Hwaldir dies, and now this Agmar troop is looking to be a little bit less menacing. A summon goes down here. It is probably going to be the Wildman. But meanwhile, actually on the left-hand side, the base of Turin seeming to be in a lot of trouble. Agmar pushing here. The king is looking to be pretty solid in this game. Wouldn't you say so, Wyatt?
Yes.
Any additional feelings about that?
No, not really.
All right, well said. On the right-hand side, we do have more units pushing forward here. From our secondary Isengard player is Tan. Morgamir now out on the field, only level 1 though, hasn't managed to level up yet. And Isengard troops are now moving to left-hand side. Ginger's deciding to go over and help his brother as he sees a huge force of Agmar now moving forward here. They are focusing down the spider pick that is going to fall almost immediately here. And these tower expansions are going to have to hopefully help him survive. The heroes of the goblins now arriving. And we have a new addition to the cast. It has now become a 4-person cast. Jack, say hello. Or not. Does anyone want to say hello for Jack?
That's my brother.
That's his brother. Well said. Now, as we move forward here in this match, the Goblins pushing a little too far forward. They are going to be taking a significant amount of damage. Isengard now showing up from the backside, though, to help. However, with bringing all these troops over, he's left his own base to be quite vulnerable, as a ton of Agmar troops have moved forward. I do not know why he's retreating right here. He needs to turn back around and attack, but instead he's going to be waiting for an additional hero. It is going to be Hwaldir, who has just returned back to the field. Maybe he was waiting for Hwaldir to come back up to get that leadership bonus from him before he launches this massive attack, although he's actually repositioned now and moving over to take out this furnace instead. Actually building I thought that was a fortress. I thought that was going to be really strange to build a fortress in that sort of forward position. The Goblins player base on the left-hand side still alive, but Turin and Djinja's looking to be in a lot of trouble. These Agmar units are being extremely efficient, moving forward, taking more and more ground with each attack. As they move to the left-hand side here, the Goblins now seeming to be in a little bit of trouble. Whirlwind goes down from Agmar. An additional mine going to be falling here. Isengard's fortress is going to start being under siege. This troll stone sieger begins launching rocks at Azog over here. Should think he should focus on one of these fortress towers instead, though. Azog grabs an additional level, now up to level 6. Whirlwind goes down. Azog is thrown into the middle of it. Can he be focused down before he gets any significant damage out? And he is going to have to run from that. More Agmar troops now streaming in from the king. Azog, barely any health. About 500 axes come into his face, and he is going to go down. And with that, potentially the hopes of saving this base over here. Will, do you think that this base can actually survive with this many troops right outside the front of it?
There's a very slight chance.
A slight chance. What would you give it on a scale of 1 to 100? What percentage of chance?
About 7.
About 7% chance, Will is going to say, and I would tend to agree with him. There is an additional units of Isengard now coming out. Can this fortress survive? It actually has taken very little damage, but right now he's focusing down the towers to help decrease the amount of damage he's taken. A couple more Wolf Riders now showing up, but Isengard has a couple of units on the bottom here. Wormtongue is out, only level 1, but it might be enough. He doesn't have enough damage here to actually deal significant damage to the fortress, and I think this fortress is going to survive, albeit temporarily, as he is going to have to fall back here. Now, where is the reinforcements? Where is the additional troops? Where is the stronger troops? All of these units still very at a very basic level. None of these players really deciding to go up to those higher level, higher tier units. The Goblins now finally recovering. Turin has a couple of mines and Goblin caves up in the back of his base and is going to be surviving, albeit barely, able to get out a couple more units. Angmar, however, continues to have a surprising amount of units on the field, and this game is getting pretty intense, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Any additional feelings you'd like to share?
This is a really good game.
Couldn't agree more. Now, as more units come out here for Istan, he actually has quite a base here. I'd like to see more Dark Rangers on the field. Does have a set queued up here, and a set does come out as well. So this is looking to be pretty good for our Angmar players. They have a huge force massing in the center here with Hwaldir at its front. He is going to be leading these forces into battle. And Isengard is trying to make their last stand, throwing up additional pieces to their fortress. They're going to try and survive this siege, but with this many troops, I just don't know if it's possible. The Goblins trying to provide a little bit of a nuisance, running a few Goblins around the backside here. Does have a couple over here bugging this mine as well, but it's just not enough, as these forces are actually now splitting. The king going to the top, Istan coming to the bottom, and they are going to go ahead and try and do a pincer move where they come in from both sides here on Isengard. Is this going to be the final attack where Isengard is going to not be able to survive? Can they survive this attack? Opinions, William?
Yes. But just barely.
Once again, Will giving the just barely assessment here for Isengard. Although the troops from the bottom taking a long time, ice arrows have now been upgraded, as you can see by the color of those bows. Those are going to be now dealing significantly more damage as they use those ice arrows. And the fortress is now basically in range. They are going to begin to take down the production structures first. The Goblins, or the king, moving around the right-hand side with all of his troops, grabs a builder. Hwaldir is caught by Lurtz here, but he's completely surrounded. Lurtz running in to try and deal damage to Hwaldir. He's stuck, decides to run in motion for a little while here. He's on a treadmill, actually, is what he doesn't realize, and now finally gets free and begins to chop down Hwaldir. With Hwaldir gone, these units will lose a significant bonus, and I think he's going to be able to take out Hwaldir. Throws down the whirlwind to save him at the last second. Can Lurtz die before he kills Hwaldir? He is still in rage mode, begins a last hit, and no, he cannot take him down, so Hwaldir survives. The additional bonus is continuing to be in place. The second Hwaldir arrives as well, giving that bonus to these troops, and this fortress has done a ton of damage right now. Dujinja's in a lot of trouble as Angmar pushes forward here. There's just so many ice arrows from the back, taking massive, terrible damage to his fortress. I do not think that he is going to be able to survive this, and as he takes additional damage here, that fortress looking to be in a lot of trouble. Hwaldir has died, but it doesn't matter because the fortress is in massive trouble. Azog has arrived, but too little, too late, as the fortress falls, and with it, the hopes and dreams of Isengard. He lost that builder earlier. Does he have another builder on the field? The answer is yes, he does up here. It has not been spotted yet, but I don't know if he can even survive long enough to save that builder, as more troops are now flooding in. Goblins arrive from the west, but with that, the final building falls. Dujinja's is defeated, and now it is a 2-on-1 as Angmar continues to push forward. These Goblins greatly outnumbered, and that is not what you want to see. Azog taking tons of ice arrow damage to the face here, and he is going to fall. And I think with that, Turin might realize that his time in this game is over as well. His base is currently intact, but does he have the necessary fortitude, the necessary strategy in order to take on two fully skilled players who just destroyed his brother? What do you think?
No.
Okay, we have one no. Wyatt, your feelings?
No.
All right, we have 2 no votes, and I am going to go ahead and throw my hat in with them as well. So we get a 3 no votes, and Turin is going to instead, it looks like, have to make a final stand as this massive group of Angmar troops now head towards his fortress, and I do not think this is good. He is in a ton of trouble. Looks like these troops are actually turning back, perhaps searching for a secret base hidden up in the top right-hand side. However, they are not going to find it. And instead, the king is going to move in by himself. The goblin player is sending a few goblins around the map to try and pester the king, but it is just not going to be enough, as we are basically going to witness a final slaughter here as the king moves forward and begins to deal what I would say is the killing blow to this team. Without his brother, Turin has basically no hopes of surviving here. A 2-on-1, incredibly hard to win. I'm not saying it hasn't been done. I'm just saying in this sort of situation, it's just not something we're likely to see. And now the secondary army has turned back their gaze towards the goblins and are moving in slowly but surely. The goblins, seeing these at their doorstep, are going to begin canceling these bases, and he's going to make a final stand at his fortress here. He has essentially no units, and with that, I think it is pretty much all over for him. Guys, your feelings about this game? Did you enjoy it? What are your thoughts, feelings?
I did enjoy it.
And was it a hard-fought battle by all teams?
Yes.
Absolutely, and thank you very much for casting with me.
You're welcome.
And Will, as well, for joining us, our third-person caster. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Did you enjoy the battle, and what are your thoughts and feelings about this game?
I did enjoy it, but I think the two brothers should have thrown both of their troops, like the other team, together and attack.
William pointing out a critical mistake that the two brothers made by not combining their forces like Agmar did there, able to combine and conquer, and with that, Agmar takes down the fortress. The goblins now have essentially nothing left. Turin trying to hang on here. He is going to be building a secret fortress in the upper right-hand side here. However, that is not going to be enough to actually win him the game, as these goblins continuing to pester sort of the mines over at the bottom here. But this game is essentially over. There's absolutely no way, 0% chance that he can recover, and we're just going to speed this up until they go ahead and find this base here as that begins building. And now with this base found, as soon as this is canceled or destroyed, the game will go ahead and end. So I want to take a special thanks to the submitter of this replay. I believe it was this player over here, is Fortan. If I could be mistaken on that, but I believe it was him who did submit this replay. Once again, good to see Turin and Dejinjas on my channel. The King as well. We will be seeing future games with the King. So if you enjoyed his play, he will also be coming up in a future Stonewayne Valley game, a 2 versus 2 4K game that will be cast here shortly. And special thanks to my guest casters. I hope you guys enjoyed this cast as this fortress starts to take massive damage and the game begins to, or as the game concludes rather. I was going to say begins to end, but it has ended at this point. So thanks everybody for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this cast. Master Cloud signing out.